This is really sad. The Ghanaian armed forces have stormed the community in Ashaiman, arresting young men between the ages of 18 to 40 in connection to the brutal killing of one of their own, 21-year-old Imoro Sheriff, who was brutally killed by unknown assailants on Saturday, the 4th of March 2023, while returning from his girlfriend's house, allegedly. There are so many controversies surrounding his death, as a lot of people claim that it was linked to his girlfriend. Some sources claiming that his girlfriend had a second lover who had heard about him and decided to confront him with a gang of guys who jumped on him and brutally murdered him. While others are claiming that he has two girlfriends and maybe one of them heard of the other girl and hired a hit on him. But there is a small group of people comparing his killing to that of General Mahama, who was brutally killed in 2017, citing that maybe the death of Imoro Sheriff might be a case of people who just hate the military men. After it was confirmed that one of their soldiers had been killed, they stormed the community in full force, arresting and brutalizing young men as a form of retaliation. Their method has been condemned by the entire society, citing that innocent people are also involved in this, and there is no how or no way that 189 men were the ones who killed that man. Although the soldiers did claim that they did it because they were looking for the people who killed the young soldier Imoro Sheriff, but at what cost? How many people would have to suffer for the evil act of a few people? It's a clear act of revenge from the side of the soldiers because this is just an unfair way to fish out criminals. Even after the condemnation happened, these people were still not let go. They were all arrested and handed over to the police force awaiting screening, hoping that from all of these 180 something men, they will find out the few people who killed Imoro Sheriff. But if you ask me, what are the chances that the people who killed Imoro Sheriff are still in the community? Because for someone to commit such heinous act, their first instinct is to flee. But the soldiers came into the community and did what they did, hoping to find the people involved in it, or at least the people who know the people who did the killing. Again, how would they know? Because if one of these people here knew who did the killing, they would not sit here to suffer or watch other people get beaten and tortured for something that they did not do. But this common tactic with the Ghanaian military force is not a new thing. They did the same thing during the time of General Mahama in 2017. After he was brutally killed in the community where he went to serve, the soldiers came in, trooping into that community, and they pretty much arrested everybody in the village, pretty much tortured everybody, both men and women. That is to show that it's not a new method for the military men. It's almost like this is what they do if one of their own gets killed. But the difference between General Mahama and this young man, Imoro Sheriff here, is that whereas General Mahama's own killing was a lynching by a large group of people, by the entire community, you could tell that many people played a role in his death. It was some kind of lynching. Imoro Sheriff's killing is more like an assassination, more like a target, more like a hit. It was said that he had gone to spend time with his girlfriend, and at around the wee hours of the morning he was leaving because he has to report back to camp, and on his way out he was followed by some group of people who no one can name, and he was jumped, beaten, stabbed multiple times and killed. Clearly for him, somebody wanted him dead. Somebody targeted him, somebody was coming for him, and the person most likely came with a few group of friends to help him, because minus the fact that this young man is in a military uniform that might seem intimidating, he is a kid, he's a child, he's 21, he's a baby for what it's worth. So clearly this seems very personal for anyone who killed him. He wasn't going around, trying to threaten or trying to look for trouble. He was going back home. But that version or the story of him coming back from his girlfriend's house is still under allegedly, still under speculation. Because he was also said to have been killed near a hotel. So was he coming out of the hotel or was he coming from his girlfriend's house? And if that is the case, it means wherever he was at, either the hotel or his girlfriend's place, someone knew he was there and someone gave out the information that he was there, and the people who wanted him dead were waiting outside for him. Some sources are claiming it might have been a robbery gone wrong, but I doubt, because some articles said that his laptop and mobile phones were left on him, which means they wanted to just kill him. It's good to know that he was also in his uniform, some kind of identity. And if that be the case, there is also a possibility that maybe while leaving his girlfriend's place and he was going back to camp back to base, he may have stumbled upon some group of people or stumbled upon some people who were doing certain things that were illegal, and maybe he may have confronted them, seeing that he's in the business of serving the people, and things may have escalated from there. It's very heartbreaking that this happened to such a young man, probably or maybe because he's in the military. It can be intimidating. Obviously, why would anyone want to attack such a young boy who seems so harmless and so innocent? If you weren't seeing this boy in his uniform, you wouldn't want to attack him with a knife. But the fact that he's in the military, in his uniform, and he has this symbol of power in him, it's possible that whoever might be competing with him for the love of a girl might feel threatened and felt the need to come in with all the weapons in their arsenal. But aside that, it's a very tragic occurrence. It's a very tragic thing to happen to a young boy. And what is more tragic is the fact that his family were expecting him. They stayed close by to the community there, and he said when he came around, he was going to pay a visit to the family, the next day being a Sunday. And they were trying to call his phone and he wasn't taking his call. And how the family even found out is even very pathetic. According to his father, they found out that their son died on the internet. The story was going around about a soldier that was killed, and when somebody brought the video and showed to the dad, who was still trying to call his son, he was able to identify the dead person as his son. In this video here, you could see his mother crying and weeping after hearing about the demise of her son. I'm not going to lie, I cried when I heard about the story about this young boy. I mean, take away the uniform. This is a little boy. This is a child. Why would anyone want to do this to a child? As for the killers of Imoro Sheriff, I would say I don't think the Ghana Armed Forces handled it the right way. Yes, they stormed the community and arrested a bunch of people in a similar way they did for General Mahama. But what they need to know is General Mahama's case was a lynching. It was a community people. So they would still come back and find those people there. But for this young man, it could have been one person. It could have been one man. It could have been one human being who did this to him. And I don't think if that person did it, the person would still want to remain in that community. Now that they've made so much noise about this method of trying to find the criminal, they are giving the person more chances to escape, more chances to run away. Obviously, this was a murder case, and it should be carried out like every other murder case. You do your investigation quietly and silently. Interview the girlfriend, ask her questions, ask her all the men in her life that could possibly have wanted him out of the picture. Interview his family, find out who hates the family, who they think might want him dead. Ask questions, meet people around, because now that the military men have done their raiding, gone everywhere, people will be scared to come out to even say the truth, because they might be afraid that it would get worse for them. That is why we have policemen, we have detectives, and we have soldiers. Your job is to fight war or make peace. This killing of this young boy who happens to be in the forces is not your job. It's not in your jurisdiction. It's not a lynching. It's not a war. This was a murder. Yes, you're soldiers, but in your personal life, these things could happen to you, and when it does happen, you leave it up for those who are in charge or those whose job it is to investigate and fish out the people who may have done it. But this whole loud noise that they have so created in finding the people who did this to this young boy is only giving room for the one person to hide under the shadows of everyone else. It's also giving room for the one person to go to another community. In my head of head, I believe whoever did it has fled, has run away, has gone far. You killed one person, you run away. I don't think his killers might still be in that community. It's not a lynching where the entire community will still be there. It's painful, it's very hurtful. I really do hope in whatever way or in whatever method they try to find his killers and bring justice to him, I hope they do it fast, because it's very painful. This is a young boy and he did not deserve to die the way he did.